Hello everybody, welcome from me Jack and from Fredo, my absolutely filthy Alfa 147 GTA. If you want to see what happens when you leave a car for a whole year without it being washed, then stick around. So this car has run through a whole winter of salt. As you can see, the general bodywork is covered in a film of dirt, there's mud splashes, all the brightwork looks oxidised, and there's serious deposits all over the lower half of the car. This is actually my daily workhorse. This is my reliable car. My fleet includes a Ferrari 308, which I've had to rebuild the engine on and still has some issues. And I have a Lotus Elise with chassis damage, which I'm trying to get fixed. If you're interested in seeing any of those, go to the video link in the description and I'll have all the playlists for them. On the way now to give it its first wash in a year. So somebody, I think when it was parked at the supermarket, dropped something on the bonnet, so I've made a dent in it, which is really annoying. And I'm going to get that fixed up and we'll do that after the wash. I've bought a tool to try and pull the dent out and then we'll try and fill the colour as well, just make it look a bit better. It's so much better already, but that was just a first sort of wash to get the big dirt off. I'm now going to do another wash here at home with a bit more detail and maybe the clay bar in some bits of it, because there's some bits of tar and things like that to get off as well. But I think it's looking pretty promising. It's already looking a lot shinier than it was before. Something that really lets the car down is this faded black bit of trim. So I've got some Polytrol, I think it's called. Here you go. Polytrol, which I have used before, and it's really good for this sort of stuff. It doesn't just stain it, it actually lasts. So you put it on, leave it for sort of 10-15 minutes and then wipe off any excess, and it seems to work amazingly well. Look at the difference already. The bit I have done there and here all the old grey stuff. There's that little dent, and the idea is this is kind of a little mini puller, and you take this piece off first, stick it down onto the car with some special glue from a glue gun, and then you slowly lift it up and in theory get rid of the dent. So we'll see how that goes. Well, it did definitely pull a bit, but might have actually, shockingly, I think that has actually reduced it slightly. I'd say the dent puller experiment was a bit of a mixed bag. I did end up being able to pull most of the dent out, but not totally, and not just that, but on the last one that I pulled out, it actually pulled off some of the paint, so it's actually made it more visible. I've touched it up with some of the Ferrari red that I had, but I've had to order some Alfa red because it's not the same. So yeah, I'd say mixed results. Anyway, I'm going to carry on cleaning up, doing the various bits, and then we'll take it out and have a good look at it and see how it's turned out after all that time being completely covered in muck. I'm no professional detailer, so if you want to see this done properly, go on my mate Paul Dolden's channel on YouTube. However, I ended up doing a more in-depth clean than I was expecting in the end, and I'm sure you'll agree, it is looking quite shiny. So I think all that muck, all that dirt that built up over the winter doesn't seem to have done the paintwork any damage for sure. possibly under the chassis, but as I might have mentioned previously, I went underneath just before winter and rust-proofed everything there. Fredo's actually been pretty reliable. He only let me down a couple of days ago and I knew the battery was on its way out because it was starting to struggle to crank it over. There have been a few niggles. The water bottle for the washers at the front, that's always been leaking, so I haven't been able to use it and I haven't had time to fix it yet. Since I've replaced the battery, there's also been a motor control system failure. I'm not sure what that is, if it's something to do with the battery or it could be a lambda sensor or something like that, but it is a bit telling that it happened when I swapped over. And lastly, there is another error code on the dash for a lights failure. However, both lights are working, so I think it's probably the motor that adjusts the height of the lights. The motor is still by far the best part of this car. The steering is also quite sweet and I like it that it's so quick. However, the rear ride is still something that spoils it for me, and if I was to keep it, I might get rid of those Powerflex bushes. I'm not really sure yet. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do have a look at some of the other videos if you're interested. The Ferrari stuff, the Frog Eye Sprite. I'll put all the playlists in the description on this video. And do have a look at my mate Paul Dolden's channel as well, and I look forward to seeing you for the next one.